We're joined by someone you remember, Shawne Merriman, 45 and a half sacks. Some quarterbacks may not remember all of those sacks, but you now know him as the owner and promoter of Lights Out Xtreme Fighting. They're doing now their LXF number 8. Does that mean that 9 coming? Number 8 was one of the top 10 most watched shows on Fubo. My first question to you, our audience is mostly international, particularly in Latin America. Why are Latins so into MMA and the kind of martial arts that you so nicely put together?
Well, for one, and being on Fubo, which is a big Latin audience as well, they got some great programs on there, especially international soccer, a lot of soccer games. And so to finish top 10 on there after the international soccer has been great. And I've been spending more time doing Latin media. I mean, a lot, and it's cool because here in the country, football is huge and it's growing in other parts, especially in Latin America. But not also, MMA and fighting is a global sport, and it's watched all over the world. So I look at the fights and some of the stuff we have, and we got a great fan base, and the numbers and everything that's happening on Fubo TV. If you don't have Fubo, make sure you guys go get it and watch us. We got a big fight coming up here in Los Angeles.
When?
April 8th in Los Angeles. I'm going to announce that card here in the next week or so, but we're looking to have at least 14 fights.
I was going to ask you, if we're back at Super Bowl 58 in Vegas next year, you think it's going to be LFX, 16, 15?
Yeah, it'll be more than that because we'll have 9 more fights this 24. Year. Yeah, it'll be 24. It'll be 24, and I will be looking to have. I wanted to have a fight down here this year. I tried to pull it off, but definitely for Vegas.
You obviously love martial MMA, mixed martial arts. But why is this a passion for you? And what's next for you? What do you see as the immediate horizon?
Yeah, so I started training actually right after my rookie year in the NFL. And I wanted to be a better pass rusher. I wanted to be able to use my hands a lot more because I wasn't good at using my hands when I got into the NFL. And then what I found is that there's a lot of correlation between pass rushing and MMA. There's a lot. I came out in 2006, led the league in sacks, and I really accredited the MMA side of it. I launched Lights Out Xtreme Fighting in 2018. Like you said, we're on Fubo TV, Fubo Sports. And, I've been on the production side in the NFL and talent for a long time. So I understood production. I understood how things are ran on a grand scale.
And now, what's going to happen? Still working cards in the U.S.? Are you going to be working cards overseas as well?
Yeah, so our next few cards will be here in the States, but I am looking at Tijuana. We're looking at having a fight in Tijuana. We're getting a lot of viewership now in Spain.
Yes.
A lot of you. This last fight, the geographic show, we had a lot of people watching in Spain. So, we want to keep building up the brand so people get familiar with who we are, our fighters, and who we're trying to grow and promote, but also get a chance to go in other countries. I would love to have a fight in Spain, a fight in Mexico somewhere within this next year or so.
Fights are always typically evening affairs, right?
Yes.
But when you look at an international audience, you may want to run it like early afternoon so you can catch them at prime time over there. Is that beginning to be part of your thinking?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, this next fight we're having starting like around 3 o'clock. 2 or 3 o'clock. We want to get more of that international audience. We realize how big it is, and the more fights we have, our numbers grow, and we can kind of see who's watching. And we just appreciate our Latin fans so much, man. To come to the fights. I played in San Diego, so there's a big Latin fan base there, and Hispanic fan base, and it's just been great for me to be around it. And watch the brand grow. And the fighters are coming as well from that area. Yes, absolutely. No doubt about that. We want to put the best on, and we love when even when Brandon Moreno won for the UFC, and he's from Tijuana, and seeing that he was the first, I think it was the Mexican champion ever in UFC. So we want to keep promoting those guys and have their family, have their friends, and pass the word. Let's talk a little bit of football. Yeah. When you look at most former players have this idea that, man, it was a lot tougher when I was around, and it's a lot easier to play right now. Do you think it's easier to go attack and catch the quarterback now than it was when you were playing? No, harder because they can't hit anybody. But as far as getting to them. Oh, get it to them. Yeah, well, for one, they're passing the ball 75% of the time, right? So you got more opportunities to rush the passer. Back when I was playing, it was a little bit more run heavy, power football, grinded out type of situation. Less rules, obviously. But yeah, now you have more opportunities to throw the ball because they want these great quarterbacks throwing the ball more. You know, they know that touchdowns and points sell tickets and viewership, and people love to see high-scoring games. And they love to see a guy like Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts go out and get it done.
When you played and you had a quarterback that you knew coming in had some kind of injury, I know you, and you weren't going to go out there and break his leg and go to the injury and just absolutely twist that ligament off, but still you got to play with that in mind. And the scheme is designed with that in mind. How does that play? When you know someone's not 100%, you know that's a vulnerability, you want to take advantage of it, you don't want to hurt the person any more than they are. How do you deal with that?
Well, you know, you don't go down there and twist the guy's ankle, but you definitely want to test and see what his health is. No question about that. And if that's blitzing up the middle, getting him off the spot, getting him running a little bit, see if he has a little limp. You know, make sure you get a couple extra hits on him and see if he can hold up and take it. That's what I would be doing if I was the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to see where that injury is and see if he can sustain.
Tell me about Marty Schottenheimer. Should he be in the Hall of Fame?
No question about it. No question. I think that even nowadays we put more emphasis on rings than somebody's body of work, because you know there's people right now in the Hall of Fame or up for the Hall of Fame that don't have the credentials of a Marty Schottenheimer. They don't have the wins. I think Marty Schottenheimer was over 200 wins. You know that's somewhere in the top 8. So how doesn't he get into a Hall of Fame? And if you want to say that it's about rings, I'm like, okay, well, there's some bad coaches that won a ring before. And there's some, you know, they've had a Super Bowl and they've never done anything else in the National Football League. Marty Schottenheimer's body of work speaks for itself.
He came so close so many times, including your I think it's 2007 when you lost to the Patriots, 21-12. How did he handle defeat? Because it happened to him over and over again. How did he put that in perspective?
Well, you know, for one, we had a great group of guys, and you have a very small window to win when you have that kind of a team because contracts get involved, guys get traded, cut, moved, or whatever, waived, or whatever the deal is, and so you have to win in that 3 or 4 year period because the team is just going to decimate after.
Finally, our crowd wants to know about Luis Castillo, your teammate. We know him. I think his hair's kind of grown out now. I don't know if he's beginning to lose his hair. You may not keep up with him too closely these days.
He's a model now. That's what Luis Castillo. He's 220 pounds. Luis, maybe 225. He looks really good. I know he had some injuries, some back stuff, whatever. So he got healthy again, and that's really good. And I don't think he helped me split the rookie bill, the dinner bill. So he's cheap. You know, he's smart, very, very smart. You know, out of Northwest, he's very smart, but he's cheap. I paid that whole bill myself. I don't recall him helping me out from that dinner.
We were covering a Super Bowl, he and I, and it was in Miami. He took us to a Dominican restaurant where he knew the people very well, and he knew that they weren't going to charge him anything. But the part that really shocked me is how much food he ordered, knowing that it was free.
Right.
He emptied out the kitchen.
Yeah, he's cheap. That sounds very much like Luis. No, I miss playing with him, and you know, he looks really, really good now.
What's happening on April 9th on Football?
April 8th, we got a big fight in Los Angeles, California, in Burbank. It'll be live on Football TV, Football Sports. If you guys don't have football, make sure you get it, and we'll keep growing Lights Out Xtreme Fighting.
And that will be LXF
9. Check us out too, lightsoutxf.com, and we'll be posting all the fight cards and everything else we have coming up.
And this guy is moving up in the MMA world. So this time next year, next Super Bowl, who knows? Who knows what he's going to tell us? Thank you very much. And again, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.